Let's talk limiting beliefs. Whenever you believe that you can, you are right 100% of the time. And here's why. My name is Coach Bruce, and I'm a life coach for ADHD parents. I still struggle with this to this day. When you make your mind up that you can't do something, you're right. What is crazy is that when you make up your mind that you can do something, you're right too. That's pretty wild. Your mind determines your future. It determines what you can accomplish and what you won't ever do as soon as you make a decision. Now, on one side of that coin, you are often going to take more than one effort to get something done. This is something it took me a long time to understand is whenever I would go into something thinking I can't do this and I didn't get it done, I was surprised for one. But what I didn't understand is that when you fail, if you were trying your hardest, if you were giving everything that you got, you were getting stronger at that process. You were learning everything that you need to be able to succeed at some point if you keep trying. You never fail until you quit. And that is a really important framework for an ADHD parent, an ADHD adult, period, because we get really, really down on ourselves really fast. If we don't get something really quickly, then we immediately just want to say, why did I even try? I'm so terrible at this. Like, I'm the worst person in the world. I might as well just jump off of a bridge because I'm no good for anything. Obviously, that is a pretty dramatic way to react, but I've been there before. I've not been able to handle a simple, well, in my mind, simple task and get it done quickly. And so I thought, why don't I just not be alive anymore? That has been the past for me. And what I really learned is that whenever you learn to actually push yourself to the limit, this wild thing happens. Your limit increases. And for the longest time in my life, I was always saving something in the tank. I was always leaving something for later. They always say leave it all on the field. I left most of it inside because I was always waiting for the game that was coming later. But what I realize now is I'm in the game. Right now is the game. So why should I hold back for some day, some event, something that may never come? Instead, what I've started to do is leave it all on the field. And from game to game, what is happening is how much it all is increasing dramatically. And that goes from mental capacity to the ability to juggle multiple tasks to the ability to be able to be more organized and be more have a more solid process through have a more solid thought process through things to physical capacity as well. My back is super jacked up. Like I've let my maintenance go without the service it needed for way too long, and now I'm dealing with serious back issues. I was going for a walk. I've been going for a walk every day of the week for most days to try to get my flexibility back up. And if I feel like a really old person, but I was still leaving some in the tank. I was going just far enough to whenever I got back in the house, like I was ready to collapse. Well, today I walked until I pretty much couldn't anymore. And then I sat down while I was outside and I wrote for a while. I wrote and I prayed and I stacked. And whenever I got up, my back felt better than when I started in the first place. I was able to walk more than I usually walk. And when I walked in the door, I didn't collapse. I walked and talked to my wife and made coffee and did things that usually by the time I get there, I'm ready to sit down because my back is so tight. My capacity had increased because I pushed myself. When you start to actually test that limit, it starts to move farther away because your body is capable, your mind is capable of doing so much more than you give it credit for. Whenever you impose that limit as to what you can do before you ever try, that limit becomes real. But as soon as you push against it, it starts to disappear. And this is how you have to live your life. If you are just constantly living in a state of never testing the limit, never getting comfortable, instead of your limit expanding, it's contracting on you. Your world is getting smaller, your capacity is getting smaller, your ability to grow, learn, move, do whatever. If you're not pushing forward every day, you are moving backwards. I challenge you to just push harder today. Just push harder. Whatever it is you've got on your plate that is already daunting to you, try harder. Give it everything you've got before you decide you can't do it. Believe that you are more than your negative thoughts. You are not broken. You have just not learned to unlock your capacity yet. I truly, truly believe this. You are capable of so much more than you told yourself. And what I've really experienced personally and with my clients is that as you start to release that belief of I can't and start to replace it with I'm going to try, you immediately see an amazing increase in productivity for one and self-confidence for two, because it doesn't feel good to tell yourself all day long what you can't do. But unlocking that simple statement of I'm going to try turns your mind into a possibility machine. It, it's the first step in starting to dream again. You've been so limited by this belief that you can't, that your world has shrunk and your worldview has shrunk with it. The idea of possibility has become almost non-existent for you. But if you can just start to say, I'll try versus I can't, all of a sudden the gate to possibility starts to open up again. You start to think, maybe I could. And then you start to set actual goals that are actually compelling to you because they're not to do with what the world has told you is okay for you to want. You start to dream for yourself again. And all those things that are said about what ADHD people can't do start to fall by the wayside because you have something driving you that is compelling to you. They say that, it takes interesting things to make us want to learn. Imagine a future that interests you, and that is what is driving all of the skills, all of the capabilities you need to grow in order to have that future. That is the long-term interest game. It is like gamifying your life. All of a sudden, you have something that is driving all of the things that you're doing to improve yourself because it's driving towards an ultimate goal. It's the impossible game. It is the life that you never thought that you could have. Once you're able to physically dream of it, once it becomes real and palpable, it really starts to drive you forward and get you doing things you never thought were possible. So what I challenge you to do is when you are faced with the unbelievable today, just try. Do not quit before it's done. Don't quit before you start. Just try. Do not quit before you start. If you can just try, I promise you your results will increase tenfold. But as soon as you pre-label yourself with limiting beliefs, your ability to achieve diminishes. 100% of the time, when you tell yourself you can't, you're right. That's it for today. And if you are 100% of the time, if you tell yourself you can't, you're right. And if you are struggling with these kinds of mental beliefs, I can help. I am a coach who helps people work through these types of limiting beliefs and helps to reconnect with their inner voice that starts to lead them to the purpose that was initially built inside of them that they were told was wrong because they were broken and they needed to sit still and not listen to their inner voice. You are not broken. Your voice inside of you is not crazy. Your big dreams are not wrong. They just weren't right yet. Because whatever it was that you were dreaming of, you have to build. And you need help. Go to the Aimless Life Assessment at AuthenticIdentityManagement.com/assessment. And if you are struggling, like I know you're struggling, this quiz will help place you with an assessment rating that will give you tools for you to move forward out of this mentality. Have a great day.